Hello everyone. Again, I'm faced with a daunting task because I have to bring up this monstrosity of a fragrance. I have to talk about Salome. We have to talk about Salome by Papillon Artisan Perfumes. This is a fragrance which, to be honest, I don't know why I purchased. I don't know how this happened, but if you remember, this summer I talked about zoologist fragrances. That's the little bottle. It's a 50 milliliter bottle. All of their bottles are like this. This summer I talked about zoologist fragrances, and I really liked Hyrax, and I still do. And I think it kind of started from there. I don't remember if I read recommendations or somebody else recommended me that I try Salome, or it's just the algorithm that started pushing Salome on me. But it happened. I got it. It was on the list for quite some time, and it was on the list, I think, because of the Hyrax. This was a complete blind buy for me, so I had no idea what to expect. I had nothing. I knew nothing of this fragrance. I did give it a couple of wears. It's been quite a journey, and I still don't think I understand it, but I will do my best to try to explain how this, my goodness, how this smells. This is very powerful. I'm almost reluctant to spray it because I still have 1 or 2 more videos to go today. But this is very powerful, and it will probably shut my nose dead. Okay. So, my goodness. At first, you get aldehydic roses, which are quite tame. And again, it has that nail polish remover. I say again because I mentioned it in previous videos about Jean-Louis Scherer and Mitsouko and chypres in general. So it does announce itself as a chypre, which it is. But we'll get to the base a bit later on. This is a jumble of smells. So right now it's aldehydic jasmine. That's very fecal. And the animalics in this are just so over the top. There's a lot of musks in this. There's Hyrax, which is fecal. There's civet, which is pissy and fecal. There's cumin, which, you know, kind of goes into body odor. But this is, you know, this won't help you realize what I'm smelling here, because blessedly, all of these are so well tamed that the fragrance is great. It smells beautiful. There's also a bit of that very floral, almost bubblegummy orange blossom that you might find in the very first moments when applying L'Heure Bleue. This fragrance is also quite powdery. It's green. It reminds me of so many things, and some of them I got with me in order to maybe illustrate. That's the only thing I could think of to illustrate how this smells, by referencing other smells, because it's as I said, it's a jumble. And this gives me such a feeling of familiarity that for 2 days I wasn't able to place it, to kind of understand where it's coming from, what it means, what it wants to become. I still don't understand to the fullest. But this becomes gradually more leathery. And it's a very fecal, very strong, very harsh type of leather. And when I say fecal, yes, I do mean poop. But it's perfumey poop. It's like, I think I mentioned this before, wearing a chypre while cleaning out your cat's litter box. That's the smell. But again, it's perfumey. You're not going to be smelling poop. This is how Hyrax and civet is in perfumes. So the leather, right? Let's focus on the leather. The leather is very animalic. It's harsh. It's like something you might smell in this one. It's Knize Ten leather. Together with the aldehydes, together with the fruitiness, together with a bit of rose mixed in. And this is first and foremost, I think, it's a leather scent. I think this is what Salome is. It's a very, very harsh, unapologetic, bitter leather, which is beautiful. I mean, it's the first thing that won me over to its side and maybe wanting me to keep smelling more. Also, you could say that it has the Mitsouko. So it's like smelling Mitsouko, but not smelling Mitsouko. It's like the aldehydes of Mitsouko, the jasmine of Mitsouko, that's it. It has the jasmine of Mitsouko without any of the tenderness of Mitsouko. Nothing of the tenderness and the delicacy and the transparency of Mitsouko. But nevertheless, the fruity aldehydes are there. And it is a patchouli oak moss chypre. Then there's the smokiness, there's the resinous aspect, which is so strong. And this smoky, bitter, powdery darkness that Salome has kind of reminds me of Habanita by Molinard. Oh yes, it's also got the sour body odor musk that you can find in Habanita as well. And in the end, I'm skipping a few stages here for the sake of brevity. In the end, this fragrance, on my skin at least, it settles just like Amouage Gold Man, which, if you know anything about me, is a fragrance that I truly, truly love. So again, about Salome, what's there not to love? Well, there's all these fragrances. So indeed, I should love this fragrance. So it does settle like Amouage Gold Man, which is sour, pissy, patchouli oak moss. One thing that it doesn't have from the drier stages of Amouage Gold Man, it's the rounded, oily incense. This is a thing that Salome lacks, although it is ambery, it is resinous. But the resins are dry and green, and they do remind me of Chergui by Serge, which I don't have. I should be able to bring here, but I don't have it. I will have it soon, though. So again, so many references in Salome. So many references. And even, or despite those references, those homages, it's very much its own thing. that, as you can see, it's very, very difficult for me to describe and very difficult for me to understand and to grasp. I'm not there yet. The minute I will be there, I will let you know. I will make a video saying I understood Salome. But for now, I still don't. And it's a mystery. However, I do like the fragrance. I will refrain myself from using the term love, because I think it's premature. But I do like this fragrance quite a lot, and it's very intriguing. So, about Liz Moores, she's the perfumer behind, it's her own house, Papillon Artisan Perfumes. She's British, and she's pretty much self-taught, which is interesting. I remember reading something about her where she, a few years ago, more than 10 years ago, she started mixing to satisfy her curiosity and the drive to create perfumes, which is something I will try at some point. She started mixing essential oils with vodka, and she mentioned having read Essence and Alchemy by Mandy Aftel, which is something I read as well, and I found that book to be fascinating. It's a very good read, and not only for making perfumes, about perfumes and scent and smell in general. Mandy Aftel writes very, very well. I do recommend her books. And it's funny to me that, well, after this, of course, she underwent some formal training in fragrances. But it's very funny. It's a question, you know. Do these self-taught perfumers, do they know what they're doing, or do they just stumble upon greatness? Because I do believe Salome is great. I do believe it's a modern masterpiece. I just don't know my position on it just now. I do know that I like it, though, and I do know that I'm strangely drawn to it, and there is this impulse of me to wear more of it. Now, on my skin, I wanted to smell this because on the last couple of days I had it here. I don't have it anymore because I wouldn't have been able to film anything today. On my skin, this turns into very pissy patchouli oak moss that's very dark and very green and very deep, and it's very much a chypre, just like Jean-Louis Charard, or just like Magie Noire, or just like Eau du Soir, with not losing the aldehydic things from the beginning, and while turning gradually more sour, just like an unwashed body that doesn't smell bad. It just smells spent. It just smells natural. So, yeah, to me, this is very inspiring, and I think Salome is a very, very good scent. So it is something I will definitely want to explore further, because it was very, as I said, it was quite the journey. The first day when I smelled it just a bit here, it reminded me of the jasmine of Chanel No. 5. Then that jasmine became so indolic. It's the hyrax with the indolics of the jasmine that kind of produced this huge jasmine smell. It's surreal. It's surrealistic jasmine. It's like, and the name for the fragrance, I think it's very well done, because this is so theatrical, it's so dramatic, it's so unchained. This fragrance roars, it screams at you. It's about instability, about imbalance, about not being able to keep feelings in check. Oof, there's a lot of things inspiring about Salome. Salome is pure fire, it's pure flame, it's untamed, and the beauty, it has such a dose of ugliness and such a dose of humanity. It's like a mirror when you're soul searching. It's a deeply human smell. And I've been moved while smelling Francesca Bianchi's work. Because indeed, the dry down of Salome does remind me of the way Francesca Bianchi composes those musky fragrances. I'm talking about Under My Skin and Angel's Dust. It's the same. So again, many things to be said about Salome. I think Liz Moore's touched on greatness while creating this. Unfortunately, I haven't smelled anything else by her. I will try to find some samples. They're not readily available here. Unfortunately, I ordered mine from Beauty Now. If you're interested and live in Europe, you can find it there. I paid somewhere around 150 euros, which I think it's a decent price. These fragrances are rather, expensive. This one costs, full retail, it costs 180, I think. Maybe if you like the fragrances I mentioned, Mitsouko and Goldman and Knize Ten and Habanita, maybe you'll find Salome interesting. I think it might be in your type of smells. But seriously, this is not a fragrance for blind buying at all. That's an understatement. But it is beautiful nevertheless. All right, so I don't think there's anything else to be said about Salome. If you've got any other questions or suggestions, or share your thoughts on this monster of a fragrance, I am very curious to know what you feel about Salome. And until next time, remember, fragrance creates memories, and may yours be happy.